Hey, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be talking about how I made this video.
Guess I'd rather be on vacation. Guess I haven't got the education. I don't really have an explanation. So I found a new game to play. Thought I told you to stay away. It's not a good time to test my patience. I don't get in these situations.
So this was a competition for Edelkrone's stay-at-home challenge. It's like a lot of companies, when COVID-19 hit, everyone decided to let's have competitions for filmmakers, which is awesome. Thank you. This one came out, and what I've done in the past is like when a competition comes, I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. It'll give me an opportunity to try something different, something new. I'm not really a special effects, visual effects type guy, so I was kind of pushing myself to try something totally different. The idea that I had was time-lapse background with slow motion foreground, so that the mother in the foreground is going in slow motion while her kids are going crazy fast in the background, was the idea that I had. And so I tried a couple techniques, just real simple stuff, and then I was like, all right, I think I'm ready, I can try this out. And I had done the math and everything to figure out how long the time lapse needed to be for the slider, because I was shooting slow-mo and the slider could only go so fast, so I had to figure out the timing there. So it was a lot of trial and error. Set up the green screen. The green screen was just a sheet that I had back in high school that I've kept forever, and I used it as a makeshift green screen. It's not the right color, and it's terrible keying it out. It's so hard. So I shot the one shot with her throwing the cards in slow motion, and then I shot the kids in the background going crazy and wild in a time lapse. And then I put it together as a really rough edit just to see if it worked. And I was super surprised that it worked. And I was like, oh my word, I can't believe this actually worked. What I did was I picked my different scenes and then picked little pieces that I could put in between, like the close-ups of the milk being poured, close-ups of the pencil on the paper or the pencil breaking. I thought, well, what if I actually had a close-up of the cards falling? What I did was I set up this mat of cushions on the ground, and then I had my camera, and my daughter was dropping the cards, and I would drop with it with the camera, and we probably shot that. I think that one we shot like 30-40 times to try and get it right. And eventually we got a card that swooped down and then swooped up, which was perfect to do a transition to the next scene. So then from there I just kind of built on the idea of like what else would someone be frustrated with. So then I came up with the idea of early morning pouring yourself some milk for breakfast or something. And so I had the kids going crazy in the background, the mom in the foreground pouring the milk, and did the exact same technique again. This one proved to be a lot harder because the table was a little bit reflective. And so the green reflected onto the table. And like I said, I'm not really a visual effects person. So I kind of had to do the best I could with it, and just it was a good learning experience. For the milk part where the lid pops off, what I did was I unscrewed the lid just a little bit, just enough, and then I squoze the milk, the actual carton, and then used my thumb to twist it. It was actually the first try it popped perfectly like that, and then I tried it a couple other times and it kept popping too high or too low, so it was perfect. So you just squeeze the milk a little bit and then twist the lid, and I shot that on my Ursa Mini G2 at 300 frames per second. And then this next one with the probe lens going into the milk, I didn't have a behind the scenes stuff for that. My wife was pouring the milk. I got the technique from another YouTuber, Austin Paul, and he calls it like the pants slider, I think, where you stick it in your belt loops and you hold it up like this and it slides up and down in. So yeah, shout out to him. I didn't come up with the technique, it was his. So I kind of went into the milk that way. And then the next shot was I thought it'd be funny if because homeschooling was a thing, and my whole family had to do homeschool, and it was just hectic as all could get up. There's just the fights that would happen between, kids and parents, and just, no, my teacher taught me this way. No, it's supposed to be this way. So I thought that would be funny. So I shot some quick shots of the throwing the papers off the table. Now with this one, I did a little bit different technique. The slider didn't quite go quick enough like I wanted it to. And Edelkrone has a feature on it that allows you to do target mode, I guess they call it. So you set where you want your target to be, and then the head will automatically turn with it. And what I figured out is if I loosen the tension on the actual slider module, I could move it manually, but the head would still be moving by itself. Now, if you went too fast, it would lose it. It would go too quick, and then it would catch up and have this weird jerk. So I had to play with it and find the perfect speed, but I could go a lot quicker that way rather than just doing the slider. I could just set it on target mode and then slide it across quick. And you get this really nicer, quicker move when you're doing slow motion stuff. So there's kind of a little hack. It's just you loosen the tension on the slider, you set it to target mode, and then you move the slider manually, and the head will track with it. So it was a nice little trick. It worked well. And then I did a bunch of Pro Blend stuff for the homework with the pencil. That was just really close Pro Blends. One of the most fun pieces I had was actually one of the shortest pieces in the whole thing, is I set up the Edelkrone with a pencil through the middle of the head plus, and I stuck a pencil in there, and then I had that rotate. And while that rotated, I had the camera on another slider sliding back and forth across it, so you got this really cool spiraling look as it went across this pencil. And I loved how it turned out. It's super short in the video, but like I shot it really slow and then sped it up. And then the pencil the pencil breaking piece, I tried to break the pencil first, but then it didn't work. It looked like the pencil just left the frame. So what I did was I stuck the two pieces back together well enough and then held it really careful and went like that, just enough so it just barely popped up so it didn't leave the frame. And that worked awesome. And then the last scene was actually the most complicated with the slider, and I wish I had done it just a little bit quicker than what I did on the slide, because I had to do a lot of speed ramps. But it was a 6 stage setup, so with Edelkrone you can have up to 6 different poses. So I had a pose at the beginning that was sliding in, and then the camera turned like this to see the hallway. Then it dollied over like this, or slid over like this and looked down at the ground. And then as it came back, it turned, looked at the couch, and then pulled back. So it was a 6 move. It was complicated to set up, and it was hard to get the timing the way I wanted it. And I wish I had sped it up a little bit more, because like I said, I had to do a lot of speed ramps to get it to match with the music and stuff like that. Another piece was the music that I chose was actually from Artlist. So I was just kind of listening, like, what kind of music could I use? And I was like, I kind of want something with words. So I found this one, and I was like, oh my word, that's so perfect. Yeah, it was all from Artlist, and it worked really great. I was actually really happy with the song and the music that it worked. And so that was about it. It was a lot of fun to shoot. It was a big learning experience. I don't normally do visual effects stuff. Trying to figure out how to green screen and chroma key and do all that stuff, and then the speed ramps. And so anyway, it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was insightful. If there's anything else, any other questions you guys have, please just put it in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the flippity flop flop flip. That was stupid.
Guess I'd rather be on vacation. Guess I haven't got the education. I don't really have an explanation. So I found a new game to play. Thought I told you to stay away. It's not a good time to test my patience. I don't get in these situations.